Today, in this particular session, we shall discuss about first method in transportation problem, solving the transportation problem. So that is called as the easiest method. So that is northwest corner rule. So the first method in transportation. So there are six methods in the transportation problem. So let us discuss all the methods one by one. So this is the first method, northwest corner rule. So where you will be given with this kind of table or this kind of information or the data. So where we have the warehouse, so warehouse supply and demand. So this is the warehouse factory. So factory 1, factory 2 and factory 3. And so this is the demand and here they mention the supply. So the first part of the problem, so what we need to do is, here we have to check whether the problem is balanced or not. Whether we have to check whether the problem is balanced or not. First of all, let us look into the problem whether it is balanced or not. So here, look into the demand. So how to check the balance, whether the problem is balanced or not. So if the total demand of the particular product is equal to the total supply, then we say that the problem is balanced. So that is, if we add all these demands, so that is 5 plus 8 total demand. Total supply is 7 plus 9 plus 18. It is 34. Now it is 34. So now we see that the problem is balanced. Now let us look into the first step in the northwest corner rule. So first step here, what we do is, as the name itself suggests, northwest corner. So for the allocation, we have to select northwest corner of the table or the matrix. So here, if you look into these directions, north, south, so as I have depicted in the diagram, so here west, east, north, south. So this is the northwest corner. So what we need to do is, we have to select the northwest corner of the table for the allocation. First step, so we have to select the northwest corner. So I am selecting the northwest corner for allocation. So now look into the supply, demand and supply. So here the demand is 5 and supply is 7. So demand is 5 and supply is 7. So that is why I can fulfill the entire demand of 5. Still I am left with supply, excess supply of 2 units. So what we will do is allocate 5 over here, allocation. So I have done. So we are left with 0 demand here, and here we strike out this, out of this we are left with 2, supply of 2. So still we have a supply of 2 units, and here we have fulfilled the entire demand of 5 units. So that is why, so this becomes 0. So whichever the row or column which becomes 0, either in demand or supply, so whichever becomes 0, so strike out that entire row or column. So here I have got this as 0, so this column as 0. So that is why I am striking out the entire column. So now second step, I am left with Already we have striked out this particular column, so wherever we have got demand equal to 0, so where we have fulfilled the entire demand, and now we are left with other portion of this particular table. So here we have three rows and 3 columns. So now again in the second step, again same thing we are going to do. So what we do is we select the northwest corner of the table. Northwest corner of the table. So here this is northwest corner. So here again, what is the demand and what is the supply? So here it is supply, and here we have the demand. So here the demand is 8 and supply is 2. The demand is 8 and supply is 2. So that is why I can fulfill 2 units, because demand is 8 and supply we have only 2 units. So that is why I can fulfill 2 units out of 8. So that is why allocate this particular number over here 2. So I have used all the supplies over here, so it becomes 0. And here I have fulfilled the demand of 2 out of 8. So that is why I am left with 6 units. I am left with 6 units. So now as we did in the previous step, so what we have to do is wherever we have got 0, either the column or the row, so that entire row or column has to be deleted. So here we have got 0 over here, so that is why I am going to delete entire row. Now the next step 3. So here I am left with 2 rows and 3 columns. Let me draw that. Now we are left with 2 rows and 3 columns. Again I am going to select this is the third step. So again I am going to select the northwest corner of the table. So here it is matrix, it is northwest corner. So here again the demand is 6. Demand is 6 and supply is 9. So I can fulfill the entire demand of 6 using the supply of 9. So I am using 6 units out of this. So that is why allocate 6 here, and here the demand becomes 0, and here I am left with 3 because I have used 6 units out of 9. So I am left with 3 units of supply. So again, as I told you, wherever we have got 0, either the column or the row, wherever we have got 0, so just strike out that. So here I am getting 0. This is why I am striking out this particular column. Let us move on to the next step. So we are left with only 4. 2 rows and 2 columns. We are left with 2 rows and 2 columns. So that is why. So supply again. Supply is 3. I am left with 3 supply, and here I am left with 18, and here I am left with 7, and here I am left with 14. Again, what is the next step? So next step is selecting the northwest corner of the particular matrix. So here I am selecting the northwest corner over here, northwest corner of the table. So here northwest corner, look into the demand and supply. So here the demand is 7, 14, and supply is 3 and 18. So here just look into this particular corner, that is northwest corner. So the demand is 7 and supply is 3. Demand is 7 and supply is 3. So that is why I can fulfill the demand of 3. Since I have a supply of 3 units, so that is why allocate 3 to this particular position. So that is why I get 0 over here. So I have used all the supplies of 3 units and I am left with 4 units because I have fulfilled the demand of 3 units out of 7. So I am left with 4 units. Now, as usual, so we need to strike down the row or the column. So wherever we have got 0. So here I have got 0. So that is why I am striking out this particular row, and the final one, the last step here it is 17, 20, and here it is 18, 4, 14. And 14. So now we have the demand of 4 and 14 and supply of 18. So you have to select again. You have to select the northwest corner of the particular matrix or particular table. So I am selecting this corner. So here it is 4 because demand is 4 and supply is 18. So I can use 4 out of 18. So that is why the minimum number out of this minimum number I have to write. So here it is 4. I have written 4 over here. So that is why this gets cancelled, and out of this 14. So I can allocate this 14 to this particular position because the demand is 14, supply is 14. So that is why I can allocate 14 to the last position. So that is about solving the transportation problem using northwest corner rule. So let me write the final allocation. So here this is the first table, whatever we have written in the beginning. So this is the question. So here itself I will write the allocations in the first step. So we have got the allocation at this particular position as 5 units. So next step, so we have got the allocation at 30. So that is here it is 2. In the next step, so again in this particular position we have got 30. That is 6 units. So here again in the 40, in the place of 40, so I have got the allocation as 3, and here at the end 70 and 20 to that position I have allocated the values as 4 and 14. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 3 rows and 4 columns. So we say that it is a 3 cross 4 matrix, or there is a rule called as M plus N rule. M plus N minus 1 rule. So we have to verify whether we have satisfied or whether we have allocated in a proper manner in this particular cell. So how to verify whether it is completely allocated, all the positions have been allocated or not. So how to look into that? So we have a M plus N rule. So here it is a 3 cross 4 matrix. 3 cross 4 matrix. So this is why M equal to 3 and N is equal to 4. So 3 plus 4 minus 1, that is 6. So we have to allocate to 6 positions. We have to allocate to 6 positions in this particular matrix. So in order to solve this particular transportation problem. So the allocations are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have allocated to all the 6 positions. Now let us look into the next step, where we are going to find out the minimum cost, the total minimum cost, minimum cost using these allocations. How to find out the minimum cost? So minimum cost, it is very easy to find out the minimum cost. So wherever we have the allocations, those number of units multiplied by the cost of that particular unit. So here 5 into 19, 30 into 2, 30 into 6, 70 into 4 plus 20 into 40. We have found out the minimum transportation problem using northwest corridor rule. So here 90 into 5 plus 30 into 2 plus 30 into 6. So this number of units into the price in the allocated position. So that we have to multiply and we have to add all these values. So finally we get the minimum transportation cost as rupees 1050. So this is the simplest method in the transportation problem. It is called as northwest corner rule. So I repeat once again, northwest corner method is a very simplest method in the transportation problem. So what we do is we select the northwest corner or northwest position in the matrix and we allocate to that particular position. So when we look into that particular position, so we have to look into the supply and demand. So whichever value is minimum, that value we have to write here, or we have to allocate that value. So here demand with demand and supply. So we have 5 units of demand and 7 units of supply. So what we have to do is we have to select minimum value 5. So we have to allocate to this particular position. So once we allocate to that particular position, so this becomes 0. So the next step is whenever we get a 0 either in the row or the column, so the entire row or the column has to be deleted or that has to be striked out. So here it is this position I am getting 0, so that is why I strike out this entire column and I am left with this. And again I have to select the northwest corner and again I have to follow the same procedure. So this is about